Hello class. Alright, in this video I'm just going to look at some things with line weights because at the way back of this series I talked about using AutoCAD and bringing in AutoCAD, and we can see I've got a CAD layer right here. Generally AutoCAD's going to bring in all black lines because you're bringing them from construction documents or whatever document you're doing in AutoCAD, and that's what you want them to be. But in a rendering, not everything wants to be a black line. So in this video I'm going to talk about white lines, which is a very typical thing to do. In another video I'll probably talk about property lines because my property line at this point is so overwhelmed with other rendering. What looked good maybe for a construction document just does not meet the standards here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to above my CAD layer because I want this to block out those lines for starting. I'm just going to make a new layer and call it white lines. And things like white lines usually is parking lot lines. Because I find I don't always change my parking lot line color because it's so small. These lines, black lines, they don't matter. But at the same time, if I'm really thinking about the drawing, I find the black to be just so distracting that it just sort of annoys me because it brings your attention to it. So in this, that's usually the case. Most buildings have some sort of parking. But in this case, I also do have lines for the ball fields that are striped white, and so you might as well do that. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to come through to my CAD layer and just select the lines that I want to be here, and I don't remember how I did the CAD. I might be able to use select line weight. If I went back to the CAD, I might be able to just bring in print a PDF of just those layers and bring them in. That could be an easy way. In any event, you're going to have to find some way just to select the lines you want to be white. So I'm gonna see what happens because I don't remember. I'm going to select one of these lines here, and I'm going to go select same. Where am I? Not under select same stroke weight. And it is going to take more than just the parking. So that's not going to work. So what I'll do is, it looks like it's grouping. A lot of times I'll do parking lots in groups for certain things anyway. So I'll select these really quick. I'm going to pause. You don't need to see me selecting all my parking lot. Well, I'll come back in a second. All right, I'm back. Second for you, but for me, I just went around, selected my parking lot lines using the various groups I had set up in line selection methods and things. So I selected all my parking lot lines. I also selected all the ball field lines and the track lines and all of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to copy these lines out. I don't mind if they stay in the CAD layer, that's fine, because I have this layer on top, actually called white lines, and I'm just going to paste it right in front, paste in front to put them right on top, and I'll come to stroke color and I will set it to white. Or at least I'll start by setting it to white anyway. And so we can put that down and we can see that that it really does. If I zoom way in, I don't know what happened here, this little dot, I have a little extra line there, but we can see it made the line white. It makes it much less visible, so it pulls back the parking while still having the information. It works quite well. Some of these other lines you might even want to come in and say, you know what, I can barely even see that. Maybe I'll just change the stroke up. I would say never be afraid to, it's probably too big, never be afraid to change line weights special in Illustrator if you want. We did that with the buildings. If we remember, I changed the line weight for the buildings, and I'm changing them here for these guys. But never do it on the CAD layer. I mean, you could do it on the CAD layer in your Illustrator file. The thing is, if you did it here, what I find happens is when you go back and edit, because I always have to edit a rendering after I've done it. Many times. That's the way client wants to see it done. They want to make changes. They want to see what happens. So I have to do the work in CAD because that's where the construction documents are. You come back. So I can make a new PDF. I can replace this layer. Boom, I'm done. I just have to make some tweaks to the drawing. And so if I do it on another layer like above here, I can just go then and retweak that. If there was any change at all, which if the change is going to happen, it might happen up here. So these lines that I'm making, I want to do here. So they're set on this layer. I don't have to worry about changing it, even though I'm likely going to have to change that layer. That's why I always change my line weights on a different layer for the rendering purposes, so that it's separate from all that other work and can be, trust me, easier to edit in the long run. So there we go. I've made white lines. Feel free to change your colors. We can see the track is reading a lot better with white lines, as typically would be the case. These soccer fields and things, I should really technically go and probably make thicker line weights for that, because they're just fading. I can't see them, and that's fine. The parking lot is not distracting now, so we're all good on that.